And we start with some breaking news from the disputed territory of Nagorno Karabakh as a refugee crisis is underway. An explosion at a fuel depot there is reported to have killed 20 people. That is according to the Armenian authorities, who say 290 were also admitted to hospitals and dozens of them are still in a critical condition. Armenia now says over 13,000 people have fled across the border amid fears of persecution and ethnic cleansing. It comes as Armenia and Azerbaijan are due to meet in Brussels today, representatives from both, for EU-backed talks. It will be the first such meeting between the two countries since Azerbaijan seized the enclave last week. Nagorno Karabakh is at the heart of one of the world's longest-running territorial and ethnic conflicts. It's recognised internationally as a part of Azerbaijan, but has been controlled by ethnic Armenians for 3 decades. Well, BBC Russian's Natalia Zotova sent this report from Gurias, which is near the border with Armenia.
The exodus of refugees started late Sunday night. Some arrived in the border town of Garis in ambulances, exhausted, too weak to walk on their own. With a few belongings they could transport, families that crossed had lost all hope of ever returning.
We
went to the airport, everyone was collected in one spot. Everyone was in a terrible state, stressed out, children crying, old people crying, hungry, cold, without enough clothes.
Driving closer to the Armenian border with Nagorno Karabakh the next morning, the scale of the evacuation became clear. Russian peacekeepers we saw were helping refugees cross the border and unloading their bags.
This is the main road leading from Nagorno Karabakh to Armenia. And we have seen dozens of cars with refugees coming.
And they are welcomed with basic supplies. Temporary tents have popped up at the border to register the new arrivals. Aid workers told us people are in need of food, clothes and medication. The impact of 1 day's war and a 9-month blockade imposed on the territory by Azerbaijan. The Azerbaijanis deny it was to target civilians, but say it was to prevent arms being taken into the region.
No, there was nothing.
How did you cook meals?
We only picked what we had in the garden. Potatoes, beans, we didn't have bread, flour, nothing.
People are malnourished from being in blockade for 9 months. They are crushed because they have lost their homes. We see people who come in unsuitable footwear and just the clothes they had on.
Armenia says that it will take in all refugees from Karabakh, potentially up to 120,000 people. In the 1990s, a different ethnic group fled Nagorno Karabakh, the Azeris, who, having lived alongside ethnic Armenians for centuries, felt threatened after the region decided to secede. They headed to Azerbaijan, where many of them still live in temporary and often dismal accommodation. For these Armenians, it's unclear what the future holds. The priority today is sheltering themselves and the very little belongings they have from the rain. Natalia Zotova, BBC News, Garis in southern Armenia.
In the meantime, there have been further protests in the Armenian capital, Yerevan, calling on Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan to resign. Opposition groups accuse him of failing to prevent Azerbaijan from seizing Nagorno Karabakh. Mr. Pashinyan has blamed Russia and particularly the Russian peacekeeping force in Karabakh for looking the other way while Azerbaijani forces took control of the enclave last week. The Kremlin has rejected these claims. Well, let's go live to Yerevan now to speak to Edmund Murakian, who's an Armenian lawyer and politician currently serving as ambassador at large in Armenia. Thank you very much for being on the programme. I understand You don't have any more information about this explosion at the fuel depot and its consequences. We're hearing that several hundred have been critically injured.
Right now, we got information that helicopter from Armenia allowed to go there. So we hope to evacuate critical wounded, patients. So they are very, very much in critical situation. During whole night, we tried to organize something like that, but we couldn't manage because of weather conditions. So our hope is that, to save lives as much as we can, because we know that this big explosion, it was a big disaster. And it added to another disaster, which is this ethnic cleansing, which is happening in Nagorno Karabakh. People were waiting in a queue to get fuel for their cars, and this big fuel exploded.
Tell us about the situation with regards to the numbers of people crossing the border. What information have you got in terms of the numbers and how they are being looked after when they get into the border and across into Armenia?
So right now we have information that about 14,000 people already crossed the border. So you can see from images the car rivers coming to Armenia. So, and Armenian government is organizing everything. We announced that we have already 48,000 places for these people to settle them in different hotels, houses, in villages, in cities. So this is going to become a big humanitarian crisis in Armenia, a small country and with small resources that we have. And I think we will, for sure, we will need international support in this as well. Also, we have fears that the Lachin corridor will be closed again, maybe some 1-2 days, and there are rumors about it. And the main big issue is that Nagorno Karabakh is in a process of big exodus and depopulation because of Azerbaijani military attack, because of all commitments that were violated by Azerbaijan, not ensuring the rights and securities under international mechanism of the Nagorno Karabakh, for the people of Nagorno Karabakh.
Just quickly, how hopeful are you that the talks today in Brussels will bear some fruit in terms of bringing a solution to this?
Actually, this talks is a preparation talks because the main meeting will be held in Granada in Spain. So we gain hopeful. We hope that we can manage to find solution, because if the rights and securities will not be ensured under international mechanisms for Nagorno Karabakh people, so then the whole Nagorno Karabakh could be depopulated.
Okay. Edmund Muriakian, thank you very much indeed, joining us live from Yerevan.